Everyone thinks the royal family lives at Windsor Castle for its beauty and tradition. Yet, when you examine its bloody construction, its breathtaking interiors, the dynasties that hid within its walls, and the catastrophic events it has survived, the real reason they moved their seat here is far more strategic, darker and whispered than anyone admits. October 1070. William the Conqueror stood on a chalk hill overlooking the River Thames Valley. He had conquered England, but he hadn't secured it. Rebellions burned across his stolen kingdom. William needed fortresses to crush the Saxons, strategic strongholds positioned around London exactly. He chose this hill for one reason. Any army approaching London would be visible for miles around. Within weeks, his soldiers had built a wooden motte and bailey castle on this elevated ground. The motte was a 50-foot artificial hill topped with a wooden tower for observation and defense. The bailey was an enclosed courtyard surrounded by timber walls, housing soldiers and siege weapons. This wasn't a palace. It was a military machine designed to intimidate, dominate, and destroy resistance. For the next 40 years, Windsor remained a garrison where Norman soldiers controlled the Thames Valley. Transformation into stone. Henry II's Revolution. King Henry I began converting Windsor from wood to stone in 1110, creating England's first royal apartments. He built the first stone walls, replacing flammable timber with limestone blocks 12 feet thick. The round tower was constructed atop William's original motte, creating an imposing stone keep rising high. But the real transformation came under Henry II between 1165 and 1179, investing massive treasury funds. He built the first true state apartments on the castle's north terrace, overlooking the Thames below. These rooms featured vaulted stone ceilings, narrow arrow-slit windows, and floors of packed earth initially. Medieval luxury meant tapestries on cold stone walls, a fireplace in the royal chamber, and glazed windows. Henry created the King's Hall for feasts and councils, where nobles swore loyalty on bended knee. Windsor's dungeons were excavated deep into the chalk bedrock, holding prisoners and treasure in darkness. Edward III, the Gothic masterpiece. Born at Windsor in 1312, Edward III held a profound emotional connection to this castle always. After his victories in France, he decided to transform Windsor into Europe's most magnificent palace. In 1348, he founded the Order of the Garter here, creating a chivalric brotherhood of 24 knights. Between 1350 and 1377, Edward spent £51,000, equivalent to £400 million today, rebuilding Windsor Castle completely. He demolished Henry's buildings and constructed soaring Gothic halls with pointed arches and rose windows. St. George's Hall was created 180 feet long, with a timber hammer-beam roof spanning its entire width. The ceiling was painted blue and covered with golden stars, representing heaven brought down to earth. Edward's state apartments featured stained glass windows, depicting his ancestors and military victories in France. The walls were covered in frescoes showing biblical scenes, Arthurian legends, and royal genealogies displayed. For the first time, Windsor became a palace of beauty and power, not merely military function. The interior evolution. Charles II's Baroque splendor. After the English Civil War, Charles II inherited a medieval castle neglected for decades and damaged. In 1660, he commissioned architect Hugh May to create state apartments rivaling France's Versailles Palace. Antonio Verrio spent 18 years painting Baroque ceiling frescoes with gods, goddesses, and mythological scenes everywhere. The king's dining room ceiling depicted a banquet of the gods, with Charles himself portrayed as Jupiter. Grinling gibbons carved impossibly detailed wooden decorations, fruits, flowers, birds, musical instruments, appearing almost three-dimensional. The Queen's presence chamber featured walls covered in Gobelins tapestries, costing more than warships to produce. St. George's Hall was transformed with Verrio's paintings, celebrating Charles's restoration and Stuart dynasty legitimacy. Every surface communicated one message. The monarchy's power was absolute, ordained by God, and eternal forever. The state apartments weren't homes. They were theatrical stages where royalty performed power for audiences watching. Why they really moved to Windsor, the complete truth. In 1820, George IV spent £300 million transforming Windsor into a Gothic fantasy with gilded staterooms. The Waterloo Chamber and Grand Corridor became symbols of royal power, designed to overwhelm all visitors. Queen Victoria turned Windsor into her mourning shrine after Albert's 1861 death, ruling from there for decades. She kept his rooms untouched for 40 years, wearing black daily while governing the empire from Windsor. During World War II, Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret sheltered in Windsor's dungeons, while London burned under Nazi bombs. The castle became a symbol of British resilience, protecting both the royal family and priceless treasures. In 1992, a devastating fire destroyed 9 state apartments, but Windsor rose magnificently from the ashes. The 5-year restoration cost £37 million, proving the castle's ability to survive and adapt through time. Queen Elizabeth II chose Windsor as her true home, spending weekends there from 1952 until her death. During COVID-19, she moved permanently, never returning to Buckingham Palace, staying until she died in 2022. The truth: Windsor represents 950 years of unbroken continuity, the spiritual heart of British monarchy forever. 10 sovereigns rest in St. George's Chapel. Leaving Windsor would symbolically weaken the monarchy's very legitimacy. King Charles III continues this tradition, working from Windsor because it's more than a residence or palace. It's the physical manifestation of monarchy itself, where every stone remembers every king and every queen. The royal family didn't choose Windsor. They're bound to it by history, tradition, and monarchical survival itself.